Welcome to Clean and Sober Stoner. Right today, I really am interviewing, I'd say, one of my top 3 YouTube channels. So I'm a little nervous, when I look at the people you have on. You've had the guy from Deicide. What the hell?
Yeah,
And he was funny.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I actually was approached for that one, which is weird. Usually I just get a whole bunch of emails and promos and I'll ask if they're doing interviews. With that one, I was asked if I would interview him, and it's weird because it sounds like he's a tough one to get. So I don't know for sure why. But we had a good time. And I kind of went into it like this guy's probably gonna be not very nice and it's probably gonna be a tough one. And we just had a great time.
No, he's hilarious.
He's
You're
so
hilarious.
funny.
But that's the reason that I love your channel so much. And I'm making my first battle vest in like 40 years, right? So my old boomer butt is sewing these patches. I put your channel on. I just listen to it. And Pop Evil, if you're in the band and you didn't listen to Pop Evil, you missed out. He went, way farther than. Boy, he was talkative, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a chatterbox for sure.
It's like he took ayahuasca and he just let it rip.
Right.
But talking about what it was like to be in a band, so I'm sewing then I stop sewing, and then I end up sewing like my sleeve or my collar to the thing, and I have to start over again. So it's a dangerous YouTube channel. It's addictive.
You're so nice.
No, it really is.
Thank you.
I love your channel, and you interviewed which guy from Candlemass?
It was Johan, the vocalist, the old and new again, or the original that has come back vocalist. Yeah, he was a lot of fun too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the list. So folks, again, I'm not blowing smoke. Just I remember with my staff saying, "Hey, take a look at the people she's interviewed," and they're like, "Holy crap!" So
yeah, I've had some big ones. Brennan Small was the dude that created Metalocalypse, was another one that I was asked to do, and I was like, oh, absolutely.
I took bass lessons from one of the bass players for Metalocalypse.
Oh, that's cool.
Brian Beller.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was actually, I'm in the middle of a lesson with him. It's a seminar, and I'm playing, and he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And he walks down, and he picks up my bass. He's looking at it. He goes, "Play this again." He didn't like how my fingers were hitting the strings. Oh. And then when I took another lesson from him a year ago, private one-on-one, he'd like, "Wait, I know you." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm the guy you came down." He's like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I don't know what." I no, it's good. It's good. You
were just doing your job.
That's why I'm there.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So Clean and Sober Stoner is kind of recovery adjacent, and we're doing more mental health stuff. So a few months ago, I was just doing, a Google search, and you popped up. And I went, oh my God, there's another therapist who has a metal YouTube channel. And I just sat there for like hours, just transfixed. And I didn't watch everything like all the way through, because I'm like, it's like I'm at a chocolate store. I want the turtle, I want the caramel, I want that. So I want a little taste of each. And I just spent like 2-3 days going through it. And then we got to know each other a little bit on Facebook. I think I shyly said, "Hey, I also am a counselor, and I have a heavy metal thing." And I don't think a day goes by that I'm not chatting with you in some way or other.
All right.
So I have questions, girl.
Yeah. Ask away.
Like, I'm not sure where to start. Like, where's the best place to start? What got you into metal? And what got you into being a therapist? And do you ever have a chance to organically combine the two? So I'll let you decide which of those 3.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up listening to my dad's vinyl collection. It was, all mostly classic rock. Deep Purple was a big band that we listened to a lot, which is, in my opinion, the first like heavy metal band. And so it was kind of natural, I think, for me to go from the Deep Purple, Black Sabbath to I guess in the 90s it was the new metal, and so like Corn and Cold Chamber and Seven Dust, White Zombie, um, some new metal, some not, but were ones that I listened to a lot. And I just kind of stuck with it. I come from a small town in southeastern Idaho. I think I was one of the, if not the only metalhead, let alone female metalhead. So I stuck out like a sore thumb and got a lot of crap for it. But I fell in love with it and I've loved it since. And I'm in my 40s now and it hasn't stopped. So I don't see it stopping anytime soon. So that's where the metal started. Mental health wise, I had got in junior high, I had got selected by my peers for this thing that they called natural helpers, which was this like weekend retreat where we learned how to be able to help our friends kind of get through their stuff and be able to protect ourselves and all that. And so that kind of led me to maybe this is what I should be doing for a living if that's what my friends already feel like they're getting from me or feel like I'm, helpful. But I'm a very empathetic person. I struggle with not taking, or I used to struggle with not taking other people's um, problems and troubles and stuff into my own to where it would affect me. So I didn't go back. Didn't go back to school for about 10 years after I had graduated. I did some college, but I wasn't doing therapy at that time. And when I was in my late 20s, I decided to go back to school. And that's when I went all the way through. I didn't take a break, went all the way through, got my master's, and I've been doing it for now, I want to say 8 years.
I'm trying to remember. I believe your master's is in marriage and family therapy.
It is in marriage and family, but it's the emphasis is on mental health, or it's mental health with the emphasis of that. So I do
Okay.
mostly mental health, but I do have family and couples that I work with as well.
Do you have dual license, like a professional counselor license? And
No,
okay.
it was kind of all in one program, which is really weird, but that's just how it was designed. Yeah, I don't really I don't really know, but yeah, it's mostly mental health.
So so I'm guessing here, just based on knowing, like, is your channel to help other people with mental health, or is that channel to help you with your mental health?
Oh, totally for me. I mean, that's I think the reason why I see a lot of other people that do this that get really frustrated with not having like a lot of followers and putting so much work into something that they're not really getting a lot back from,
Yeah,
which is
it's
legit.
hard.
Like I
It's
get it.
hard.
But that part doesn't, and that's probably why I'm not very focused or great on the marketing part, because it is part of my mental health. And the question that you had asked before that, I do kind of combine the two a little bit with I like to ask, I think I've asked pretty much everybody the last at least 3 years what they do for self-care and their own mental health, because I think it's an important topic for us to talk about. And so that is a question I ask in pretty much every interview.
And the music comes up.
When I'm interviewing the musicians, when we're already talking about like their like releases or talking about whatever they have going on, that is a question I always throw in there to. And it's funny because some of them will quickly have an answer and other ones are like, I don't even know how to answer that. And they'll like kind of get like a deer in the headlights look, like I've never even thought about it. And I'm like, that's exactly why I'm asking, because it's something that we should think about and we should make sure that we're, finding that balance and make sure that we're taking care of our mental health. And so, yeah.
You made a Facebook post, I think it was yesterday. I think it was. I saw it was about, you're in a particular social situation, and so you're meeting a lot of dudes, and you made this post about being mostly about being your authentic self,
Mm-hmm.
and that not being our authentic selves is what might create a lot of the drama, a lot of the problems we're having. And I kind of wanted to lean into that because I think that flows nicely into heavy metal based recovery, hard rock based recovery. Again, I see everything from the addiction lens,
Yeah.
but like for me, when I'm working with someone and I've had a little bit of training in music therapy. And one of my clinical supervisees is a musical therapist, so I consult with her. We've done things. Like, music is such an important part because we establish our identities generally based on the music we're listening to.
Yeah, especially I think in the metal world, it's that we're all so very passionate about this genre that it does kind of encompass a little bit of our personalities. I've thought about this a lot throughout the years because, like I said, I come from a small town in southeastern Idaho, and because I always not only was comfortable with who I liked what I liked, and I didn't care if I got crap for it. I didn't care if other people didn't like it. It's just who I was. But even more so, my parents allowed me to be that. They gave me that safety net. They gave me um all of the, patience and everything, which I'm sure it was not probably always easy for them, but they allowed me to love what I love and be who I was. My mom took me to concerts, and me and my friends would go to Salt Lake or Boise because we were kind of right in between. And they just kind of always let me be who I was. So I got to naturally build that confidence and be just comfortable with who I was. And I thought that like, I noticed when I was a teenager that it wasn't super common for people to. I saw a lot of people trying to be who, they thought they were supposed to be or try to fit in or whatever. And it just kind of made me sad. But I thought, okay, well, people grow out of that. But getting back into this stupid dating world again, I've just noticed that people, oh my gosh, it's not where I wanted to be. I'm actually seeing someone right now, so I feel like I'm safely out of it, at least for now, for a little bit.
I broke the scoop here on Clean and Sober Stoners. So we have success, at least the beginning of success in the
Well,
dating world.
hopefully, but it was more of a natural occurrence. I tried to do the because I didn't date for a year after my ex-husband. I had no desire. I had zero desire to talk to anybody, to date anybody. I was very, very much just focused on me and my son going and enjoying our life and doing our things. But then, yeah, about a year into it, I was like, oh, I'll try these stupid dating apps thing. And I was just like, everybody's just out there wild and doing all these crazy things. And it was so superficial, and it was these dumb conversations to a point where I'm like, I'm having zero fun and this is exhausting. And so I quickly got it right back out of that. And I thought, it feels like nobody knows who they are. Like, it feels like everybody's still continuing to try to be who society expects them to be, or who they think that the potential partner wants them to be. And I just was like, how exhausting. Like, what a bummer way to live, And I don't know.
Before I met Julie, yeah, on a dating app. And before I met her, I'm in North Carolina, so there's a lot of, fishing and hunting stuff. And I noticed that the ladies are spending a lot of time holding fish up and showing themselves in like recreational vehicles and mudding and rock climbing. And I really started to suspect that not all of these women necessarily, especially when they're holding, the largemouth bass, like it's got tentacles coming in. They're like, so I wrote on my thing, I don't rock climb, I don't canoe, I don't do this. I never drink Folgers coffee, and no MAGA. And Julie responded, and she's like, hey, I don't drink Folgers either. Care to discuss? And so we talked.
Yeah.
And it was like an hour-long conversation about Batman. And because I was drinking out of a Batman mug, she had a Batman coffee, and it was like, oh, it's kismet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not envy you going through, but you shared that, and this is another reason why I really wanted you on here, because with your YouTube channel, you're very genuine, you're very open and protective. You understand appropriate boundaries, so you don't do anything crazy, but you're an open book. Like if Hendrix has a cold, we know. So the Neeka Rogers experience actually extends, your YouTube channel and then your Facebook. And when the two go together, it's like you're this like larger than life personality just having fun talking to real rock stars. I stay in the stoner doom realm, so I'm a little jealous about the Johann from Candlemass thing, but I wouldn't know what to say to half the guys. In fact, I've had to use you as a consultant. How do I listen to metalcore? What is this? I don't. It's a different language.
Well, I will tell you when I first got into this part of the world, because one of my friends and a guy from Canada that unfortunately passed away not long ago were the ones who started Metal Nation. And my friend here, we were working at a prison together actually, and he was just like, "Hey, would you ever be interested in like writing album reviews and music? Absolutely, get these albums before they come out. Like that's already the perk, you know." And so and I just like to talk about music. It's a strong passion, and so I started doing album reviews, and I started expanding my horizons that way. Music I never would have listened to before, I started listening more to. And he was always just like, pick the ones that you enjoy, and those are the ones you write about, because I am a genuine person. I'm not going to write all this wonderful, nice stuff about an album that I don't necessarily enjoy, not because it's not good, but because it's not my thing, you know? And so when I started doing interviews, I was just accepting all interviews. And that even more so expanded to music that I never would have given the time of day for. And so there's been like such a widening of the musical lens in the metal world for me that's been really interesting and pleasant, because like Unleash the Archers, who's a power metal band, never would have listened to them because they're power metal, and I love them. And now I really enjoy power metal.
It's an inside joke on this channel. A few times power metal's come up, and power metal's legit.
Oh, they're incredible musicians.
They are. Now, sometimes, like Man of War, I will endlessly make fun of, simply because they took it to such a cheesy Conan next level thing.
Right.
But honestly, I always thought Iron Maiden was the birth of power metal.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Unleash the Archers. Have you had an interview that was the most surprising?
The most surprising. Glen Benton from Deicide was probably the most surprising, just because I went into it thinking that he wasn't going to be nice. I don't know why. I guess because there's such a controversial umbrella around him.
He's put so much effort into being scary.
Yeah. Yeah, but the ones that do that, the ones that try to be the scariest, are usually the nicest ones.
We would like to hope.
Yeah. I feel like the more extreme the metal the band that I'm interviewing is, the nicer the person is.
I've noticed that as well. Yeah, for the most part. So what kind of music gets you through? Like, you've been through a lot. You've been through the divorce. You're being so, little sick, because this is one thing you don't necessarily share that I've heard. Like, who's your musical safe space? On the worst day, this is where you're going to go to and go, life is okay.
Ooh, that's a tough question, because I can take it in a lot of different directions.
We have time.
I do have something that I call the Anthrax experiment. When I'm having a really like frustrating or angry day, I'll put on Anthrax, and most of the time it'll make me feel better. Now, if it doesn't, then I'm like, I'm just going to have a bad day, and I just accept that it's going to be a bad day and tomorrow's a new day.
I like that. Which Anthrax, though, because they're of all the big four, their catalog is the most ups and downs, I think.
They're my favorite of the big four, and I know I'm one of the select very few. I like Belladonna and Bush. I don't. I probably maybe prefer Bush a little bit more just because his vocals, but I love both. So it doesn't really matter. Just whatever Anthrax comes on is I'll enjoy it.
I don't listen to thrash often, but when I do, it's going to be Testament.
Oh, Testament's so good.
I just, everything about that band, the humility of that band.
Yeah.
Um, they never veered one way or the other. They didn't try to be, you know, oh man, I can get it. I have a lot of really strong opinions about some of those guys, and I'm going to pull back for once. I put a hot take out there that today's guitarists are better than 70s guitarists,
Oh, for sure.
which I still believe.
Oh,
And I'm
absolutely.
getting so much heat from that. In fact,
No
one
way.
one is a guitar player that I would put into the category. And Caleb, sorry, I'm not going to call you totally out, but dude, really? He writes this book, How I'm Wrong, and I'm like, you're one of the people I can. What are you doing? It's self-sabotage. If you don't believe your band is the best band to have existed in 50 years, what are you doing? If you don't think you're one of the greatest guitar players that could go up against anybody that took the stage in the old days, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like the self-sabotage in the heavy underground. Yeah, I used to have hair, and then it just all fell out. So I have to be careful with the thrash stuff. I've never heard anybody say Anthrax was their safe space.
Yeah.
Like, who do you no kidding, go to? Like, the world that it has completely fallen apart. There's no question in your mind. Who do you go? You tell me yours, I'll tell you mine.
See, it's hard because I like weird experimental music. So like Unprocessed and 12-Foot Ninja and Mr. Bungle or Osaka Punch, like those are some of my favorites because they keep me distracted from Italy. So good. They keep me interested and they activate my mind to where I guess I forget about the other, world stuff. Unprocessed has become quickly a pretty big favorite. In Flames is my all-time In Flames and Tesla might be the comfort bands. Super
In
opposite sides of the spectrum,
in
but
Flames and Tesla.
yeah, they might be my comfort bands.
But it's a great pairing, right?
Yeah.
That's a great pairing. I might have to try a double shot,
Right?
of, just go In Flames and then Tesla, In Flames, Tesla. You should put that playlist up.
I should. I've never tried to put them together like that before. It's usually one or the other because they're so different, but I might have to do that.
If my head is spinning and I can't focus on anything, Iron Maiden for me.
Yeah.
Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the latest one. I hated that album for like 20 years because I had synths. And then I listened to it and went, oh my God. That or Hallowed Be Thy Name. Like, if I get an earworm that I can't get out of my head, I just the beginning of that, just 10 seconds, it wipes everything out. If I'm going through crushing, mental stuff, Yob, YOB, that's my that's my safe space. But I have to be I can't listen to Yob like today because I'm in a good mood. I'm like, everything's good. But man, when things get dark and cloudy, Yob.
Yeah, I can see that. They're a bucket lister for me. I still haven't seen them yet. Pelican is a bucket lister for me too, but I had
you're
already.
shocking me. I had no idea that you knew Yob like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're saying Pelican?
Yeah, I listened to the doom stoner rock genre for a long time before I went from like the new metal, heavy metal, whatever, to that for a really long time. The Sword, I've seen the Sword probably 10 times. The first time I saw him, it was $5.
I thought I knew you.
Well, I'm actually really good friends with Kyle from the Sword. But
of course you are. Of course you are.
Right. He used to give Hendrix guitar lessons, but yeah, he's a good friend. But yeah, that was my preferred genre for a long time.
Who are you've mentioned the Sword. Who else? Who would be your Mount Rushmore of stoner doom?
I love Red Fang. I mean, it would probably be the Sword. I've been such a big fan for so long.
So Red Fang and the Sword, we get two more.
For the stoner part of it. Halfway to Gone. Halfway to Gone is one that I could listen to all day, every day. I love them.
Okay, I'm just going to admit it. I've never heard of Halfway to Gone.
Yeah, they haven't been around for quite a while. They're a three-piece from New Jersey. They actually played with Mastodon when Mastodon was first starting out. Um, but and I've never seen them. I know all the guys now, but I didn't back when I first started listening to them. They have 3 albums out. Every album is incredible. They're another safe space for me. I am such a huge fan of them. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously Mastodon. I do really like Pelican. I like Nebula. I like Isis.
Nebula,
Nebula's a fun
right?
one. Mm-hmm.
Now that's a deep cut there, Neeka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't you start covering all those stoner doom bands. Otherwise, me and the heavy metal underground, we're gonna have no. It'd be great if you did.
No, I have some. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's mine's kind of all over the place, but I do have some. I mean, I've interviewed Kyle 2 or 3 times, I think now. He was kind of my guinea pig to get started because I already knew him, so it was easy to naturally get into this.
What was that like getting started? Like, I love these stories. I don't know what the audience is going to think, but I can tell you that YouTube is the most difficult thing I've ever done. More difficult than my internship, more difficult than my master. That was easy, right? YouTube has just been.
Yeah.
What was it like starting out?
Well, when I first started, it was mostly audio. I didn't do video. Like I interviewed Troy Sanders for Kill or Be Killed. It was funny. It was supposed to be Ben. Oh, I just totally spaced his last name from Converge. And the day or 2 days before, the PR reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, Ben's unavailable. Is it okay if you interview Troy instead?" And me as a huge Mastodon fan, I'm like, "Oh, I guess." Like that's who
You
it's
know, but
gotta be.
you're gonna owe me for this one.
I'm gonna own you for this one. But that was a phone call. Like I have Troy Sanders' number in my phone because that one was a phone call. Um, but I translated it into like a podcast video or whatever, just with pictures and stuff, because I wanted to start figuring out how to display these a little bit better. And then Billy Howardell from A Perfect Circle was on the phone too. Dwayne Dennison from Tomahawk was on, and Jesus Lizard was on the phone, and then Del Crover from the Melvins was on the phone. And so it's cool that I got to interview him, but it bums me out that I didn't get to do videos with him.
I don't care. You kill me. The way you throw these names like some sort of roll it. Oh yeah, Troy. Yeah.
Big ones.
Ah.
Yeah, they're big ones for sure.
So the transition to video, what was like? I'm still self-conscious as heck. Like I know I need to do more individual review videos. The channel needs to grow and all that, but I have to edit myself and I hate it.
Yeah. No, it was a really big learning curve. I mean, just doing the interviews first on the phone, I would get super anxious and I was very nervous about. But I got to a point to where I'm like, they're just people. Like they're
They
just
are.
yeah. And so I kind of got to a point that I kind of changed in my brain who they were, you know. And then when I switched to doing videos, I don't look or act like I'm self-conscious, but I just like try to forget that I'm even on the screen. I just focus on them and that helps me like not worry too much about like what I'm doing or whatever. I just talk to them like I'm in the same room as them and that helps.
It does. I get all worked up, no matter who it is, because I care. I want it to
Yeah.
come out well, right?
Mhm.
Um, so could you give it up, or are you hooked on it now?
There's no way I think my mental health would plummet if I ended up having to throw in the towel. When the other guys stepped down, they were like, we're just not wanting to do it anymore. And I said, can I please just take it then? Do you feel like it's safe with me? Can I please just take what you guys have built and see what I can do with it? And thankfully they both agreed. Even just last March, our a bunch of our stuff was expiring, and at this point that my friend was fully out of it, and so I was like, okay, well, I got to figure out how to financially do that. Or no, was it earlier no, it was last year. But I was just like, no, I will do anything and everything I can to make this work. And even though I don't have a lot of followers and our page doesn't explode like it used to, I am still just like, I can't not. It would crush me. It's a lot of work, but it would crush me.
It is a lot of work, but I do have a prediction that you are going to pop. It only takes that one thing, right?
Yeah.
And then when it's exposed to a larger audience, simply because your library of stuff is so, oh my God.
And it's really
Just,
diverse too. So it's
yeah.
nice that it can be for anybody and everybody who likes rock and metal. They could find someone that they want to hear from or hear about.
Okay. Now, the other question I really want to know about, who's on your radar? Who are the bands that up and coming? Yeah, I have this bias. Like I heard an album yesterday. So this band reaches out to me. They're called Slumbering Sun. I haven't really heard of them, but it was such a heartfelt. And the person's in recovery. I'm also a 4-year, so I'm like, okay, I'll put it on. Girl, I'm telling you, this is album of the year, album of the decade
Ooh.
material. Just the harmonies, the guitar playing, the writing, the production, and they're from like 10 different bands in Texas, including Temptress.
Oh,
So, it's one of those albums where when I got done with it, I went, oh, that was too soon. I just listened to it again. So that's a band that's solidly on my radar that made me
check 'em
excited.
out.
Anybody on your radar that you're like, the rest of the world just needs to know about?
Yeah, Beneath the Hollow has been a new
Oh,
one
yeah.
that I have really, really enjoyed. I did do an interview with those guys, and it's same thing. Like I've had a few them and Mainstream Scare have been the ones recently that have reached out to me, just personally, and I'm really enjoying both of them. But Beneath the Hollow, there's something very special about them, and I'm really excited to see what they do. The vocalist is a newer guy for the band. The band's been around for a while, but he was from Celebrity Sex Scandal. He can do a lot of wild stuff with his voice. So I'm really excited to see what they do. They're definitely big on my radar.
Okay. Anybody else? I want all the skinny. This is our shot. Like I
Well,
get
maybe
complaints.
here.
I never cover things
Okay.
outside of Stoner Doom. I'm hoping to with like Reverend is coming back. Gypsy's gonna be more involved, but what am I missing out there? Like I do not like anything that ends with core.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it.
What am I
Beneath
missing?
the, the
Who
Beneath the Hollow is a metalcore band.
yeah.
Mainstream Scare is also a metalcore band, but I totally get it. Unprocessed is again like it's so high up there for me. They are they're like Polyphia with lyrics. But their lyrics are or with vocals. But their vocals are the singer and one of the guitar players. I cannot understand how he is able to play like he's able to play and sing at the same time. It makes zero sense to me. But he is absolutely incredible in both. They do some screaming, they do some singing, but it's not metalcore. Um, but I am a huge, huge, huge fan of them. They're from Germany. Uh,
Okay. And that's unprocessed, right?
Unprocessed, yep.
Okay, I'm going into title right now.
Huge fan.
Helps if I spell correctly. A boomer with a cell phone.
Boomer thumbs. I'll have to look at my phone too to see what some of the other
There we
the
go.
Halo Effect, which are a bunch of the guys from old In Flames got together and created, and Dark. Uh, oh my gosh, I just totally spaced that.
So they're an instrumental band or just this one? Got it. Okay. So the album and everything in between,
That one's the best one.
it has a instrumental only version, and so I'm just gonna have to add both of those to my collection.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think. I absolutely love them.
Heck, I might listen to it soon and then insert it right here. We can
Oh,
we can manipulate reality like
all
that.
right. Yeah, there you go. Another stoner rock band that not only is oh my gosh, I love them so much, but also is a comfort for me and helps me through a lot of stuff is Baroness.
Oh
Every
well, come on. Yeah,
every Baroness album.
when I threw out that the guitar players are better today than they were, and I want to clarify, I don't mean they're better than Richie Blackmore. I don't mean they're better than Santana. I do mean they're better than Jimmy Page, because that dude was slop. Like,
Bobby.
the more I listen to Led Zeppelin, the less I like them. I don't like them as people.
Still love
I
them.
don't.
I get it.
You know, it's just that it's like, dude, hold. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're better than Rory Gallagher. What I'm saying is back when I grew up, which was in the 70s, we got maybe 10 to 20 albums a year, and they are glorious albums of the year, right? They are, nobody will ever match like Aerosmith, Get Your Wings, or Toys in the Attic. Those are just iconic hard rock albums. So I'm not saying they're better than Joe Perry. What I am saying is we have 10, 20, 30 times the quality music coming out right now, where, you know, the mid-level bands today absolutely smoke the mid-level bands from back then.
Absolutely.
And it kills me that my generation doesn't respect that. And when the bands themselves don't realize, like, we're in this golden age of endless music. And see, there I am going on my rant. You know, I think we have an embarrassment of riches. I can't possibly keep up with everything.
Yeah.
So the Gina Gleason and so is all of them. Those are some of the best musicians in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are King Crimson level musicians.
Yeah.
There's not so, but especially Gina, she's, oh my God.
Yeah. And their harmonizing together is one of the just most heartfelt soulful things that every time Stone, I love Stone. Every time I put it on, I feel like I lose my breath, and I feel like, you know, like when they say your heart swells, like I almost have to take a deep breath because I love it so much.
Yeah, that album start to finish, and they're late in their career, and they're putting out, you know, band-defining, genre-defining music.
Yeah.
And then so many people are like,
Yeah.
Treasure these people. We're never going to see their like again. And 20 years from now, people will be saying, man, those guitarists in the 1920s, they were tearing it up.
Right. Yep.
So how do you balance that? I mean, I know I listen to a lot of music, but you're getting it from so what's your process? How do you filter what you're listening to? Or are you all day, every day, you just got an earbud in and
I'm listening to music a lot. I don't think I can answer that, because even being asked, you know, the questions about music, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of songs on my phone, and it just depends on how I'm feeling. Like, I have like all these different playlists, depends on what I'm into. Like I said, In Flames, I'm always gonna listen to. I'm always ready for. Unprocessed, I can always listen to. There's 12-Foot Ninja I could always listen to. There's some that I can always go to. But outside of like the ones that I will always go to if I'm not listening to something else, it's always. And then I have playlists that have like Nina Simone and Electric Light Orchestra, and like I'm kind of all over and then the Dead South is one of my favorite bands. Like I'm kind of all over the board. So it just depends on how I'm feeling and what my mood is.
Okay, here's the leading one. Have you heard the new Sleep Token?
I have not, and I'm really embarrassed to say that because I do. Oh no, I was thinking Sleep Token. I'm not a big fan of Sleep Token.
I am completely in love with that album.
I haven't even listened to it.
It is so good on so many different levels. And
I have a negative connotation with Sleep Token because of what happened last year. And so I kind of keep them at arm's length.
what happened? I'm not sure.
My ex-husband is a ginormous fan, which is fine. Like him and I still get along, but
yeah, I know where you're going here.
There's a lot that is attached there.
They're attached. Yeah. So my big attachment is with my ex-wife is Mumford and Sons, and because we discovered Spotify around 2011, and it just opened. That was before Spotify was evil. Now they're just flat out evil.
Right.
So Mumford and Sons is one of the first things. So that's attached.
Yeah.
But I'm going to unattach Mumford and Sons from her and plant it with Julie because we are seeing Mumford and Sons. I think it's in July.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for you. Yeah, you write a new story. I love that.
We're going to write a new story. So I'm going to see him. So yeah, I totally got that. Sleep Token, that album, I'll find somebody to discuss it with, because if Sleep Token is an example of the new generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and what they're listening to, I can go to bed because I hear as much Porcupine Tree and Opeth in there as I do the pop stuff, and the way they do it and the lyrics are so. I love that Sleep Token album. That thing's amazing.
Their followers are hardcore, man. I've never seen. I mean, they call themselves a cult. Like it's insane. It's a whole other the lore and all the Sleep Token is very genius with how they market and how they do things.
Same thing with Ghost.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Which I have not heard their Ghost. Like, I appreciate the heavy ABBA-esque part of it, and I like to have an open mind, but I have to be in just the right mood for Ghost, and then I'll put it on.
Yeah, I haven't listened to much, and there's a few bands that I really need to be better about checking out, and Ghost is one of them. Every time I hear them, I'm just like, it's just not quite there for me, but I need to do the same thing.
Okay, so In Flames, I'm not overly familiar. Where should I start with In Flames?
They're kind of like Baroness in a way. You know how Red and Blue is more of a heavier, and then they kind of go into more melodic. That's kind of In Flames. So for you, I would start with maybe what is that called? Songs of the Playground. Is that what that album's called? Let me look real quick. I think that's what it's called. That one is all In Flames is good, but the newer stuff I think you would probably enjoy more because it's more melodic versus Songs of a Playground, Fading. Jeez. I guess I didn't totally butcher it, but I kind of butchered it.
I don't see it at all.
It's I don't know if this one.
There it is. I got it. 2011.
Yeah, that one's really good. The Mask is really it's all really good, but Clayman is probably my favorite, but I don't know. It's all good.
Do you do an albums of the year list written or okay? So
I dread it every year.
Oh, what do you dread about it? I dread
Because I
about it.
stress out so much about who I'm going to put where and who's going to be on the list. It's every year I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I have um friends that I really want to be high up because they deserve the recognition and they deserve to be high up there. But then I have this like push and pull of, okay, now do I love this album more because it deserves that spot, or because I love that person so much that I'm wanting to, put that up there further. But I go through, you should see my list every year. It's the most stressful thing of my year every freaking year.
I have no choice. I have to start. So I've already started. Like I've got to narrow down because I do
Smart.
publish a top 10 at the minimum. And then I'm going to have Gypsy or Reverend are going to handle the Monster Riff side. I hope. Hi, guys. You're taking Monster Riff in case you didn't know. Because I can't. I've got 2 YouTube channels, 2 businesses, 2 blogs, and what have I done? So if you absolutely had to right now, this is it, the year is over. You willing to play along? You tell me your number 3. I'll tell you. We'll just do our top 3s.
Well,
Albums of the year as
I
of now.
don't know if it would be my number 3, but it would be in my top 3 is Bleeding Through's 9.
Okay.
That one came out in February. Loved that one. Did the Halo Effect come out this year? I feel like it did. I'm gonna have to.
Don't you hate that? Like,
Yeah, because
I
I'm
can't
like,
remember.
now are they albums that have already come out or that I've already been able to listen to?
Oh no, we're anything. Anything you've heard. If you had to make your list right now.
Okay. Okay, let's see. The Halo Effect was this year. Okay, so the Halo Effect, March of the Unheard. That one is the old member, a few of the old members from In Flames, and I can't believe I can't remember. He's a vocalist of another really big band, and it's just escaping my mind right now. And then Catatonia's new album, which comes out next month. It's Nightmares are
Really,
extensions of the waking state. I love Catatonia. I'm a really big fan.
I'm surprised that they're still relevant. They've been around a long time.
I still love them so much. And this new album, it's better than the last couple, in my opinion, that they've released. I love it.
Okay. So far, if the year were to end right now, and it's painful for me to say this, but Slumbering Sun, Star Mini as number 3. By the way, it could be number 1, and I feel you on the friend thing. Like,
Yeah.
I know all the, if I'm interviewing a band, I know them. Like, and we're chatting and all that, so I really hate, I stress over that as well. But number 3, Slumbering Sun, it could be number 1. Number 2 is Year of the Cobra, which that's an album that to me redefined what drum and bass can do. It redefines what so-called stoner doom can do. I think Amy is a genius player, a genius writer, and a genius vocalist, and her husband is so. And I'm going to see both of those bands. We're sponsoring Asheville Doomed and Stoned Festival. That is cool. July 11th and 12th. So we're the major sponsor. And so I am going to see both of those bands.
Awesome.
There. So we're really psyched about that. We're also going to see Restless Spirit. I mean, really, if you were to put together a clean and sober stoner fest, another one, Dope Scum, one of my favorite albums from 2-3 years ago. I'm going to be able to finally meet them. So anyway, those are my 2, but the number 1 album of the year, and I think it's going to hold. It just came out Friday. Crystal Spiders, Metanoia is...
Oh, yes, I saw that you were talking about that.
Everything in a bag of chips.
Okay, I need to check it out.
It is a complete metal album. It has throwbacks to everyone from Thin Lizzy to the new wave of British heavy metal to Corrosion of Conformity.
Mm.
But there's no mistaking it's Crystal Spiders. It's like it reminds me of when Uriah Heep got their classic lineup around Look at Yourself. This is the band at the time, and I'm gonna throw it out there. They're one of the top 5 bands I've ever seen. They're phenomenal live. And just so you know, folks, I have an interview with Brenda from Crystal Spiders is on Bass Gear magazine, so I'll put the little thing here. So we've got the Stoner Underground has invaded a mainstream bass magazine. I'm just in love with Crystal Spiders, and I'm seeing them next week. And
awesome,
because right now it's all about, I put together my first battle jacket, and it's the official Crystal Spiders battle jacket. So this will make its debut, and then I've got a ways to go.
Oh, that's so awesome.
So I've got Grave Next Doors going on here, Crop, and I think and Sloth, the Doom band from LA. So I've got like 3 more patches to put on. But I'm so excited about Crystal Spiders. I could talk for an hour about Crystal Spiders. You've got to hear it.
Yes,
like, it's designed, I think, to be listened to from beginning to end. Because Metanoia is, a profound spiritual experience, life-changing. And I think it's a well-named album. And she even has a dark song called Maslow, which is about Maslow and his hierarchy of needs. Wow. And it is so metal. It's my favorite song. It's my favorite. I thought she might have been a counselor at one point. Yeah. So,
yeah, you would think with that. Yeah, or some kind of psychology major.
So, Neeka, I'm no longer nervous. This has been a thrill for me. Hopefully it wasn't too unpleasant. We can get you back on. I'd love to have you on again.
Yes, I've had a blast. I appreciate it.
Maybe even, if you ever hear an album that is not Stoner Doom, but Stoner Doom should hear, hit me up. Okay. I'd be really interested in that kind of cross. And I think Metanoia is an example of a band that can cross 2 or 3 genres easily.
I love bands like that.
Is there anything you were hoping to talk about that I didn't even mention?
No, I kind of went into this just blind. It's weird being on this side of things. So it's kind of been so relaxing.
I know. You don't have to edit. You don't have to post. You don't have to keyword search.
Or even just like come up with questions. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and relax and answer. And
I love doing interviews, but I'm horrible. I just blah, 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 because I have so much that I want to say. And I'm like, blah, 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 and I say the stupid stuff. So, but yeah, I
fight her out.
I figured you could use a little break. And again, folks, you just don't take my word for it. It's Metal Nation YouTube. I'll have the link in the comments, link in the description. You've got to check out the unbelievable library of interviews she has. They're some of the best in the business. There's no pretense. There's no gotcha. There's no clickbait. It's just really what you do better than anybody else, in my opinion, is you really turn it into 2 human beings talking. Like I always perform. I always do something. You have none of that. It's just you 2 kicking back, talking to an old friend. And I think they're the best in all of metal YouTube. I love your stuff.